Teachers College, do you see much in the way of black history being made part of the curriculum, or is it an elective as opposed to being a required?
Well, you have Black History Month. What do you people want? I think it's a notion. I think black history and the studying of black history is sort of like a notion. Wouldn't that be nice? What if we did? What if we did have black history and we studied it? I don't believe that it is taken seriously in terms of curricular materials. And in fact, I think it's avoided. Most places I go, they just don't see the relevance of it. You know, again, it's something like, I had a recent experience at the opening of the visitor center at the African burial ground. You realize that those bones rewrote history. They really did. Because they told on us, in the sense that, you know, when we think of enslavement or slavery, you think about the South, those people in the South. All 13 colonies had slavery, including New York. And so, are they going to change the textbooks to be reflective of that? Or are they going to say, oh yeah, and by the way, there's a burial ground, as though it is a separate experience, an anomaly that we don't have to take any real focus on? Do you see what I'm saying? If you look at that burial ground, you learn how we lived and how we died, which is not recorded in the halls of universities, you see. So that requires that we take that information and then infuse it into education. And if you're asking me if they're going to do that, certainly not. Even the information we knew prior to that has not been infused. It's not been infused. The whole period of enslavement, the Middle Passage, the Walk of Sorrow, the numbers that died en route to the slave castles. Do you think they're going to infuse that into our curricular materials? Or that we are going to insist that it happen?
There are those who say, well, let's put that behind us. That was in the olden days, and things are different now. Look, you even have an African American as president.
Yeah,
so
also,
let's put that behind us.
Also hear stuff like, and what about Oprah? and what about all those athletes? See? And what you have to do, you know, and again, I guess sometimes people respond emotionally. I don't. I kind of respond very pragmatically to that. And I ask them, with the advent of the election of a black president, if you will, did somehow the overrepresentation of African Americans and Latinos in the criminal justice system, did they go away? Did it even decrease? As a result of the advent of this great historical moment, has there been a change in health disparities, in the poverty index? Has there been, do you see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a nonsensical thing to say to me, because those institutions that have historically been racist and biased and oppressive continue. The federal government said it twice themselves. They said, oh yeah, we've oppressed you for a long time during enslavement. We oppressed you after enslavement, hence Jim Crow, and we continue to oppress you. That's why they apologized. However, it was an apology that was empty, because it had no meat to it. So yeah, we oppressed you before, we're going to oppress you some more, and we're going to try not to oppress you as badly. But essentially, there's no meat to it. There's no, there's nothing to suggest that change has happened. And so I think for people who want to quickly put it behind them, let's get to that point. We don't need to look at that. And I've looked at that phenomenon. Or why don't you leave? They don't tell anyone else to do that. They don't tell Jews, just forget about that Holocaust. Don't speak about it anymore. It's just useless and it's ridiculous. Don't, you know, just why even? They don't do that. They don't. You certainly are going to tell Asian people to do that. Why do they tell us to do it? And I'll tell you my assessment of why that is. Because when we pull back the covers on us, we pull back the covers on other folks. So we rewrite European history as well. We rewrite our perceptions of those founding fathers and our perception of our inherent humanity, our willingness to embrace and our inclusivity, as it were. Somehow it throws a rock into that glass house, and you begin to realize that things weren't as they were written in the text. Not just about you, that black person, but about you, that white person. That's where the rubber meets the road. And we're not getting ready to let Timmy and Lil Sue find out what folks were really about and what they really did. That's where you're going to see the resistance and the pushback, because it's not about you seeing you. It's about everyone seeing everyone.